Jade Cargill fans, I got some bad news for you. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that news is, and I absolutely hate sharing it. Look, we all know that Jade Cargill, she's out of action right now. WWE, they shot that angle on Friday's SmackDown, her getting laid out in the parking lot. Now, she was part of the U.S. Women's Championship tournament, in which the inaugural champion was going to be crowned at Saturday night's main event on December 14th. She was also slated to be part of the women's War Games match this Saturday night at Survivor Series. Unfortunately, she's been pulled from that tournament, and she's been pulled from the War Games match as well. Two devastating blows, which comes at a crucial time for Jade Cargill, because her and Bianca Belair were absolutely on fire and firing on all cylinders. WWE's hopes, dreams, prayers of making the tag team titles and making the tag team of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, well, it paid off. It paid off in droves, and it really got an ROI to the point where I was getting backlash, and still do anytime I mention the idea of doing Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. They weren't ready to see, and they're still not ready to see Jade Cargill in a singles role for the first time in WWE, and they're certainly not looking forward to Bianca Belair being back as a single star right now. They've really enjoyed it, and so when they did this angle, it caught people off guard. There was no talk of Jade being injured. There was no clear-cut signs of her being injured. I mean, it absolutely devastated people, and people were like, okay, well, maybe they didn't want to beat Jade in the women's tournament for the Women's U.S. Championship. Maybe that was it. But she was working on a triple threat in the first round. It didn't make much sense, right? You can get out of that. You can have someone else take the pinfall, her get screwed over, yada, yada, yada. The baby faces are going to likely go over in Survivor Series, or in War Games at Survivor Series. What is going on with Jade? Well, then WWE announced in Storyline that she dealt with a bunch of injuries as a result of this mystery attack. They claim that she had a deep lumbar muscle contusion, a bruised kidney, a sprained MCL in her right knee, a tibia plateau bruise in her right knee, and facial lacerations. Insane. But then Dave Meltzer comes out and he reports that they did get a confirmation that Jade Cargill is injured. However, the severity is unknown internally. Past those involved in creative were told they will be a minimum of 3 months out, maybe longer. Now, keep in mind, this is as of right now, so the timeline could change a little bit, and the nature of the injury could come out. So please don't roast me in the comments, but that's the reality of the situation right now. That's the bad news. Bad news is she's injured. Bad news is she ain't going to be out for a short period of time. It's going to be at least 3 months, okay? Or 2 months, or 4 months, or 6 months, or whatever it is. Either way, it's not good. Now, I want to say this. I don't think it'll be a situation in which WWE forces her to vacate the championship. I think her and Bianca are going to remain as women's tag team champions. However, I also don't rule it out, the fact that they want to put a new set of championships on them. Bianca Belair, she'll still be working the Women's U.S. Championship tournament, so she will have her hands full there. She obviously needs to finish up the build to Survivor Series in the Women's War Games match. So she's going to be just fine. You could have Bianca defend the championships. It's like a handicap match. You could have her just vacate it. I just don't think they will. It just really depends on how long Jade Cargill is going to be out. But this is Jade Cargill's first major injury that we know of. And that is going to be something in which she has to overcome. That is something in which she will have to come back from. This is going to be a challenging time for Jade Cargill and her family. It sucks. It sucks. But if you want to have a silver lining in it all, if you want to look at a positive of it, the fact of the matter is it's November. She could be back in time for the Women's Royal Rumble. Think about it. Royal Rumble ain't until the first week of February. She could still make it back for WrestleMania. So if I'm booking it, I would have her make her surprise return in the women's Royal Rumble match. Why not? You get a natural pop. Right? You get a natural pop. If she can't make it back in time for that, that's fine. That's okay. You can still do whatever you're going to do at WrestleMania. Now, please don't crap all over me here, but it raises the question, what do you do with Jade Cargill when she returns? Is she going to still be Women's Tag Team Champion? Is she going to remain in a tag team with Bianca Belair? Are they going to finally do Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania? Do you still have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill stay together in an alliance, yet they go on their separate singles ways? A lot of questions. Not a lot of answers. Another question is, how much does this injury impact WWE's plans when it comes to Jade Cargill? What did they have planned? Because I made a pitch that I thought Jade Cargill should have became the inaugural Women's U.S. Champion. The reason I thought that is because it sets up a few different scenarios. One, it makes the title meaningful. It gives it an automatic prestige because WWE has always been high on Jade Cargill. She has helped, alongside Bianca Belair, elevate the Women's Tag Team Champions, which usually, unless they are booked and held by top stars, those titles don't necessarily mean much, or at least mean what they do when top stars are in that role. So if she would become the Women's U.S. Champion, it would help the title significantly, especially getting off the ground. Also, it would give Jade Cargill something to do as a single star because, look, her and Bianca, they're in the middle of their second run as champions. They were eventually going to lose it, so what do? It gives a natural course for Jade to do something. If you didn't want to do the split between her and Bianca, it gives her something to do. It's a first championship as a singles. There's a lot of positives that would come from her being women's champion. However, that's clearly not going to happen, right? She's already been replaced in the tournament. That bolds the question, okay, do you put the championship, the Women's U.S. Championship, on Bianca Belair now? Like, who wins that tournament? That opens the doors for conversation and talk and debate and everything like that. But it's going to suck without Jade Cargill being on WWE television and her being on Friday Night SmackDown every week. That's going to suck. People are going to miss her. She is a star. She stands out. She's unique. She's a unicorn, right? There's a lot of negatives here, but I look forward to seeing her back on WWE television very, very quickly and wish her a speedy recovery.